What's up, guys? It's Eventon here. So I found myself more recently over the last week or so finally getting back into the swing of things of mining, whether it's gas huffing, ice mining, as well as ore and moon mining as well, just because sometimes I'm not always in the mood to do PvP or combat sites and things like that. So I got all my alts kind of back in the swing of things, and I found out that I had to refit basically everything. The CPU, the power grid, a lot of the modules you have to use, both in the high slots and stuff, have completely changed. So I've actually had to revamp a lot of my fits. And as you can see here, I actually had a lot of fits in the past. I put a lot of them all up on Eve Workbench, so I'm going to have to actually take down all those fits and re-put up these new ones. And I think I went a little bit too far with all the very, very niche roles or niche fits that you can do, where it's like, oh, you want a balanced tank or a heavy tank or more yield, this and that. So I kept this pretty simplified for the most part. The main thing I wanted to focus on was to make sure that pretty much across all of the fits, so let's say just take the skiff here for example, I wanted to make sure that the ice, the gas, and the moon ones pretty much all had the exact same rig and mid slots. The only things you really needed to change out was the high and the mid slots, or the high and the low slots for different yields. And certain things like gas, there are no fits, or there are no modules that increase your gas cloud harvesting speed or anything like that. You know, you have to have a command burst buddy right next to you. So that was the main goal of this. I will say I do have CPU and power grid upgrades to 5. I do have shield upgrades to 5, but I only have mining upgrades to 4. And I think that is the majority of people that do mining. I know there's a handful of people out there that have mining upgrades to 5. So if anything, you might actually have a bit more wiggle room when it comes to this CPU. And if you do, that's great. None of these fits are made to be super hard and fast. I actually left the drone bay completely open because some people love using mining drones. Some people like to run ECM if you're kind of in a very scary part of space. Some people like to use combat drones. It entirely depends, up to you. Same thing if you're ice mining. Some people like to run the ice mining drone. I'm not a huge fan of it myself. I'd rather run combat or ECMs based on where I live, which is wormhole space. So yeah, that's so again, these fits just work for me. These are the fits I suggest, but you know, out here in wormhole space, I'm able to do moon mining and ore mining basically in the same system, and occasionally we do get a shot at a wormhole where we have ice mining that is available that I do partake in occasionally. So awesome. I think I covered all the stuff I needed to. We'll go ahead and jump into it. So first things first, we'll cover the Skiff Ice fit. This one's pretty straightforward, and again, I try to make the mids and the rigs pretty much identical. The only caveat here is with the ice harvesters is these actually do take up quite a bit of CPU, just because of I believe the ice harvester upgrades do just tax the CPU more than your typical mining ones. So as you can see, we actually have a compact EM shield amplifier on here. We have the ice mining upgrades. Mid slot, we actually have a large shield extender. But if we actually switch over to, let's say, the moon and ore version, there's actually enough room to where now we have enough CPU, because again, we only have the modulated strip miners. You can actually upgrade these from compacts. You can switch to go to variations. You can actually now fit a T2 shield amplifier in there, just because we have more room in the CPU now. Again, I didn't fit it out with full mining laser upgrade 2s, because I feel like if you're using a skiff, you're not doing it for the max yield. Probably using it mostly for tanking, right? And again, the rig slots and the mid slots pretty much don't change, but again, if you don't mind switching out that compact for a T2 just to get a little bit more resist, you can obviously do that. Now the gas huffing one, so 2 gas cloud harvesters in the highs, obviously. The low slots, I just put in 2 bulkheads. There's no low slots that will allow you to harvest faster when it comes to gas cloud harvesting. Again, the mid slots are the same. You can also upgrade this obviously as well if you really wanted to. The rig slots are the same as well, so it does feel a bit weird. Yeah, this is a bit wasteful, having a little bit too much CPU. But again, if you're that person that doesn't mind either having multiple skiffs or tearing out that rig slot occasionally and filling it in with another core defense extender, you could definitely do that. But again, I wanted to make these fits as homogeneous as possible when you're trying to do multiple things at once with the same exhumer. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at the Ice Mackinaw. Again, this is, I assume too that if you're using an exhumer, you're going to be in a fleet format, so you're going to have other people with you for either protection. You know, there's a little bit of strength in numbers as well for the most part. So again, no drones. The drones are completely up to you if you want to use mining drones, ECM, combat, or ice mining drones as well, or just I guess a single ice mining drone in this case as well. So mid slots, I mean, a lot of the fits are pretty much identical. I think pretty much the Mackinaw as well as the Hulk can only run a compact large in the mid, as well as 2 multi-specs and a shield amplifier. So actually there's enough CPU on the Mackinaw to run the T2 on here, even though it's for the ice fit. And again, a processing overclocking unit as well. So again, I assume that if you're trying to get maximum ice harvesting yield, you're going to use the Hulk. And I do have a substitution in there for that, for like the ice harvesting rig for the most part. And switch over to the gas, which again is pretty much identical. I actually did forget to say on this one, I did put 3 inertial stabilizers here in the lows, just depending on whether you favor more tank, or because if you do put on these bulkheads, you notice your line time actually goes up pretty significantly from 12 seconds up to 13 seconds. But if you remove all these low slots and throw in 3 inertial stabilizers, now your line time is down to 7. So you pretty much almost cut it in half, which is pretty crazy to think about. So again, it's really up to you. If you're the type of person that favors a line time and you want to get out of trouble as fast as possible, great. Or if you are in a pretty massive fleet and you want to have bulkheads and you want to be able to just tank a little bit long enough for your response fleet to show up, or your big ball of drones of all the other ships there to take out the attackers, you can do that as well. So I just kind of put it in there as a different option, but you definitely don't have to use those. Same thing here with the moon ore. I mean, this fit is pretty much identical to the ice as well. You know, you just swap out the mining lasers. And again, the crystals as well, it's really up to you which ones you do. I have no idea if you're doing Veldspar mining or ubiquitous moon ore mining. It's really up to you at the end of the day. So I kind of left a lot of this stuff open and free to interpretation of what you guys want to do. So Mackinaw is pretty straightforward. Now on over to the Hulk. Again, we'll cover the ice one here as well. Again, just because of the CPU requirements, it can only fit a compact, kind of like the Mackinaw. And again, we don't have enough CPU as well as power grid to fit a, yeah, like I said, a large shield extender. So we actually have an EM amplifier, which is compact. 2 multi-specs on here as well. So this is pretty much identical to the Mackinaw for the most part for the ice. Go down to the moon. And actually, one thing about the ice is if you are using this Hulk for ice, obviously you can kind of ignore this fit and you can actually do a couple different things here. So if you do want to do basically just full yield, you'll have to do something like this. You'll have to remove the damage control, put on the ice harvester, upgrade, remove this, put in a T1 overclocking processor. Go to rigs, resource yield, processor there, and then I believe here, what did I do here for the mid slot? I honestly don't remember. Honestly don't remember what I did for the mid slot here. Oh, I remember what I did. I did put these, I just basically compacted these multi-specs. So this should fit pretty well. And again, now because we have a little bit extra CPU, you should do a shield amplifier. So if you want to do a completely full yield ice harvester Hulk, it would probably look something like this. I mean, this is probably the best you can do. And again, I pretty much have no propulsion modules on this because if you're flying Exhumer, you should be in a fleet format. You should have bookmarks. You should have easy warp ins, extended range boosts and stuff like that as well. So I feel like if you do put on an afterburner or like a micro warp drive module, you are taking away from your tank as well as your capability of increased yield as well. So going back to here, so that we looked at the gas, we looked at the moon ore. I mean, pretty much and same thing with the gas. So we already looked at the moon ore one. And the gas one's pretty much the same thing. So you can put bulkheads in here so you can survive a bit longer. I mean, 70k EHP is decently respectable. But then again, if you also have a 10-second align time. But again, if you really favor the align time over the extra tank, you can do this as well. Just slap these in there and I actually have a 5-second align time, which is literally half the amount versus the extra tank. So again, there are some people out there that want to have full bulkheads with the damage control, or you can just do full inertial stabilizers when it comes to gas cloud harvesters. Because again, the low slots, there's nothing to increase the yield of the gas cloud harvesters. You can only go as fast as your skills, or if you have someone boosting you nearby, like a porpoise or an orca as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna put as many of these fits as I can down in the description below. It's gonna be hard to fit 9 different fits down in the description, but I will eventually update my Eve workbench fits as well. So I'll probably put a link to my Eve workbench, like my character name directly, and then you can find it there as well. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or concerns or anything like that, let me know down in the comments below. I might as well also do some skin giveaway stuff. I'll put it down in my comment which skins I'm giving away and how many and how to enter that. So yeah, let me know which one is your guys' favorite Exhumer in order to enter the giveaway, and then we'll go from there. So hope you guys take care, and I'll catch you guys next time.